The theory that the RMS Titanic never sank but was actually swapped with her sister ship, the RMS Olympic, is one of the most famous conspiracy theories associated with the Titanic disaster. It suggests that the Olympic was intentionally sunk instead of the Titanic for financial gain or as part of an insurance scam. Here's a breakdown of this theory. Key claims of the ship's swap. Damage to the Olympic. Proponents of this theory claim that the Olympic had been severely damaged in a collision with a British warship, the HMS Hawk, in September 1911. They argue that the Olympic was so badly damaged that it was no longer seaworthy. So the White Star Line, the company that owned both ships, decided to swap the ships. Instead of letting the Olympic be decommissioned, they allegedly swapped her with the Titanic and sunk the Olympic in place of the Titanic. Insurance fraud. The conspiracy theory suggests that the White Star Line, led by J. Bruce Ismay and other executives, stood to collect a large insurance payout from the sinking of the Titanic. By sinking the Olympic instead, they could cover up the financial losses from the damage to the Olympic and collect a larger sum from the Titanic's insurance. Switching the ships. Proponents of this theory argue that, prior to the Titanic's maiden voyage, the ships were switched, possibly by altering their appearance or changing identification markers, so that the Olympic would be sold as the Titanic. The theory suggests that the ship that sank was the Olympic, not the Titanic, and that the real Titanic either never sailed or was deliberately retired. Why the theory doesn't hold up. While this theory has captivated many, there are a number of reasons why it's widely discredited by experts and historians. Extensive evidence of the Titanic's sinking. The Titanic's sinking is well documented with survivors' testimonies, detailed wreckage reports, and photographs. The wreck of the Titanic was discovered at the bottom of the North Atlantic Ocean in 1985, nearly 73 years after the disaster, and the evidence clearly shows that it is the Titanic's wreck, not the Olympic's. The damage to the ship, the orientation of the wreck, and the artifacts recovered are consistent with the Titanic's known design and its final moments. Both ships were similar, but not identical. While the Titanic and the Olympic were nearly identical in design, there were subtle differences, such as the layout of the cabins and some structural features. The idea that such a massive switch could have been made without anyone noticing is highly improbable. Additionally, the Titanic had certain upgrades that the Olympic lacked, which would have been difficult to conceal. The damage to the Olympic was significant, but not fatal. After the Hawk collision in 1911, the Olympic was indeed damaged, but she was repaired and continued to serve for many years after the incident. There's no evidence to suggest that the damage was so severe that it would